What's up? In this video, I wanted to talk about my opinion that the 9 to 5 is just a total psyop. And what I mean is that the only way somebody could look at what a 9 to 5 can offer you in 2026 and think that it's an acceptable deal is if they've somehow been propagandized or brainwashed or psyoped or gaslit or something. Because no rational person looking at what a 9 to 5 offers you objectively can say, oh yeah, that's a good deal. I'm getting a good deal out of this interaction. I'm happy with the social contract. And I don't mean this in like a cringe, like escape the matrix type of way, because I feel like that language and that way of looking at it has kind of been tainted. But genuinely though, think about what does a 9 to 5 entail in 2026? It entails spending pretty much your whole day, minimum 8 hours. It's actually more than 8 hours if you have to stay at the office later, and it's even more time on top of that when you factor in a commute, unless you're lucky enough to work remote, which most people are not. So you're talking about probably for most people a minimum of 9.5, or 10 hours of their day allocated to either working or commuting to and from work. So right off the bat, the prime hours of your day are being taken up by a job that you probably don't like, or at the very least, the company just does not care about you, and they don't have your best interests in mind. And if they had the chance to fire you and replace you with AI, they would probably do it the first chance they get. Furthermore, let's talk about like the economic incentives, right? So people are buying houses at a later age than I think maybe at any point in American history. I don't remember the exact figure, but the age for the median house or the median home buyer, house buyer, whatever you want to call it, I don't know the exact term that was used, but it's something insane. It's like in the 50s. So that means that the majority of people that are buying houses are over the age of 50, and the minority of people that are buying houses are under the age of 50 something, which is just totally nuts because you think about how many young people are in the market to buy a house. They want to buy a house, they want to get a house, but they've just been completely priced out of it by inflation. That's another thing, is if you're doing a 9 to 5, you're basically going to get like windmill dunked on by inflation. How many jobs have kept up with inflation in the last however many years? Pretty much none. What was inflation at? It was at like, I don't know the exact percentage, but it was well above 3%. I think 3% is what is considered standard and normal. We had tremendous inflation around COVID and the years following that. Did the salary increase proportionally for people? No, not at all. So when you're in a 9 to 5, you're getting paid and you're basically just hoping that the company gives you a big enough raise that you are able to break even in terms of inflation. You're not even really getting a raise. The raise is just saying, hey, your money is decreased by this amount. Maybe we'll raise the amount that we pay you so that your buying power is still what it was before. Most of the time, that's not even what you're getting though. And so oftentimes people will end up, even after a raise, the amount of money that they will have will be worth less than it was last year on account of inflation. Furthermore, you just have to think about like what are the incentives that make somebody want to work a 9 to 5? Is it that they can buy a house? Because most people are not going to be able to buy a house. Is it that they're going to be able to support a family? Most people can support a family, but if they do it, they're going to be in the trenches and they're really not going to have much of, they're not going to have much luxury or fun. You're not going to be going on vacations and stuff all the time. You're not going to go to Cancun with your family, dude. You're going to Great Wolf Lodge. You're going to the water park or something. You're not going to have any nice vacations because all of your money is going to be spent on housing your family, making sure your kids have food, making sure that you're able to pay the electricity bill and things like that. It's just not a very appealing deal. I mean, the actual compensation is not caught up, and you're being asked to do so much work for just such little reward. And I feel as though we've been psychologically predisposed to think that a 9 to 5 is the only option that is available to us. Like, that's what I'm talking about when I say it's a psyop, is that at no point really are you told in school or are you told by the adults around you, maybe this has been the case for you, but it was never the case for me that, oh yeah, starting a business is a viable option. Doing entrepreneurship, doing something on your own, being self-employed, being a freelancer, you're never told that's a viable option. And you know in the back of your head, technically it is possible. Like there are people that own businesses, there are people that are self-employed, there are people that are freelance, but everybody around you, whether it's in school or the adults around you, are pushing you towards a 9 to 5 because it's the most stable form of income, so to speak. And I mean, stability is cool and all if what was stable, well, the stable thing being offered is actually cool, but the stable thing being offered sucks. It's having all of your time taken up, it's being exhausted, it's having to watch in real time as the money which you are paid decreases year over year on account of inflation, and it's being able to stare down the barrel of 40 years of Microsoft Teams meetings and staring at your computer and driving home in rush hour, just for the hope that, you know, one day you can get your 401k up high enough that you can get that, what is it, 5% withdrawal after you're 65 and then enjoy your life for a couple of years after you retire. Dude, no, that's not a good deal. That is not a good deal. I'm not gonna cope and say it's a good deal. It's crazy to me. That's not acceptable. And you know, maybe there was a time when working in 9 to 5 actually was a good deal for some people. You know, I think back to my parents are a little older, and so are their siblings. It's like they're growing, or they're born in like 50s, 60s, 70s. Back then, I bet it probably was pretty alluring to work in 9 to 5. And, you know, those days are just gone, though. You have to be more educated than ever to get an entry-level job. You have to have more experience than ever to get an entry-level job. And proportionally, you're making less than ever if you're getting an entry-level job. So more is being asked of you and less is being given to you than any time probably since World War II, if you just adjust everything proportionally. Dude, just to give you an idea of how different it is and how different it is now and how crazy it used to be back then, I was talking to my uncle at lunch like a month or two ago, and he told me that he bought his first car for $50. And I literally thought he was trolling because that doesn't even make sense. Nowadays, if you want to get a used car, you're paying an insane amount of money, right? Some exorbitant amount of money. And this guy, obviously, you have to adjust for inflation, right? But even if you adjust for inflation from 1970 something, whenever he got that car, that is still ridiculously cheap, dude. A car for $50? Are you kidding me? Like, I literally, that doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know if he was lying, but he said it with a straight face. So, I mean, I'm inclined to believe him. That wouldn't be the craziest thing I've heard from back in the day. But, dude, yeah, we're past the era of you being able to buy a car for $50, even a shitty used one. So, I don't know. I just don't know how anybody can look at what a 9 to 5 offers and not just feel dismayed and not feel despair thinking about doing that for 40 years, dude. Maybe I'm just crazy. You know, maybe there's something wrong with me, but the thought of, you know, waking up, being tired, driving through rush hour traffic, getting to work, being exhausted the whole time, working for minimum 8 hours, going back, driving through rush hour traffic, getting home, having basically no time to work on anything or do anything that I actually want to do, and then rinse and repeat that for minimum 5 days out of the week, it just seems so soul crushing. And on top of that, there's really no way out. Like, the only way out would be if you start something on your own or you somehow make enough money that you can retire early. But the super majority of careers are not going to pay you enough to retire before you're in your 50s or 60s. And so that's out the window. So your only other option is to start a business or have some sort of unorthodox stream of income, right? But I mean, when you're working so hard and you're so tired and you have such little time after work, how are you going to get that done? How are you going to delegate enough time to actually do something major like building a business? It's just not going to happen. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm alone on this, but I just don't know how people aren't just totally black-pilled and dismayed by the idea of doing this for 40 years, because the reward is really just not there. The reward is you get to subsist and survive. And frankly, I mean, we're out of caveman times, dude. Like we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about a saber-toothed tiger coming and mauling and eating us, and we don't need to worry about having to track down a caribou and kill it with a spear so that we have food for, the next 2 weeks. So really, if the best thing a 9 to 5 can offer me is subsistence and staying alive and survival, then that's just simply not good enough, dude. You're gonna have to give me a better offer, because that's not a sufficient reward for what's being asked. And I think really most people do hate it. They just don't want to vocalize it. They want to gaslight themselves into thinking that they're okay with it or that it's not that bad. But here's the thing: is everybody that I've talked to, and I've brought this up with, I'm like, do you hate this? Like, are you okay with this, or are you, like, do you have an intention of doing this for 40 years? Like, is that okay with you? If I ask them that and I kind of interrogate that question far enough, what all of them basically say is like, yeah, dude, it sucks. It's not ideal, but all of them have like this pipe dream of how they're going to get out of it. Like, I talk to my friends and they're like, oh yeah, man, it's going to suck for a couple years, but then I'm going to have the opportunity to move up and do this, or, maybe this door is going to open for me. And I'm like, dude, you're coping. You're delaying your possibility of exiting from this scenario down by X number of years. And guess what's going to happen? Those number of years are going to elapse, and that door is either not going to be there or it's going to open, but you're going to have golden handcuffs. And you're going to think, oh man, I just got my raise. I just got my 401k match. Why would I go take a chance and go off on my own? Like, it's better just to stay here at this company. Fuck that, dude. That's not going to be me. I'm not going to do that. See, here's the thing. I've experienced enough of working in the corporate white-collar environment that I know without a shadow of a doubt that I would rather be making less money but have the autonomy of being self-employed and being able to set my own hours and do what I want to do throughout the day than make any amount of money. Like, I would have to be offered so much money for me to put up with that lifestyle, because it's just so denigrating to the spirit. I hate it so much. And that's what I initially made this channel about, was just saying, my goal is to become self-employed no matter how unorthodox or, difficult it is, because I just cannot stand the prospect of being soft-locked in a 9 to 5 for the next 40 years. That's absolutely crazy to me. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope my friends are content with it, but I feel like most of them probably aren't. But what I have to wonder is, like, if they're not content with it, why are they not trying to do something to change it? That's what doesn't make any sense to me, is everybody hates this shit, but nobody wants to take action to try to get themselves out of the situation, even if it's a long shot. That's why, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really come to the realization that I needed to take action to get out of this until fairly recently, but I feel like, dude, once you're in it, it should be your top priority. You're like, wow, I hate this. Are you going to hate it for 40 years? You're going to be miserable for 40 years? Or are you going to try to do something to get out of it? I mean, it feels like if you aren't actively trying to do something to give yourself the chance to exit the 9 to 5, then you're essentially just giving up and surrendering. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, dude, it's just a rotten deal. I don't see how you can justify it. If you have any chance of avoiding it, why would you not take it? Maybe some people really are programmed in a way that it doesn't bother them and they don't mind it, and maybe some people may even like it. I don't know where they are. They're probably crazy. They're a different type of crazy than me, though. I'm crazy on the opposite side of the spectrum. But yeah, dude, I really feel like most people are coping. Nobody likes this shit, but they're just too comfortable with the stability to find the courage to leave. But I've got my priorities set out. I know what it is that I want to do. I know what it is that I don't want to do. And so I've made the choice, dude. I'm not going to play the game. I'm going to opt out. And so last thing I'll say is that I am trying to, have my own streams of income. And so one of the things I'm doing is I'm offering a math tutoring business. If you need help with high school math, ACT prep, SAT prep, or university level math, go to my website, book a free consultation. Let me help you out, and let's make something happen. Go to www.kehrtutoring.com. That's KUEHR tutoring.com. Get a free consultation, and let me help you out with math. But other than that, have a good one, guys. That's the end of this video.